So today's program is about increment, decrement, and postfix, prefix. What is increment? Increment, the word increment comes out from increase, and increment happens when you increase any number in your variable. You can increase it by 2, you can increase it by 1, by any number. When you increase your variable such that its value, the value of the variable increases, this is called increment. Whereas decrement is when the value of your variable is decreased. So most probably by when you look at it, you know that decrement comes out from the word decrease. Now we are going to go for the concept of postfix and prefix. Postfix is when your operator is in post to your variable, that is, it's after the variable, then it's a postfix. When it's addition, it's a postfix increment, but when it's a subtraction, it's a postfix decrement. Pre is when your operator is before your variable. So this is a prefix decrement. If I have to write a prefix increment, this is a prefix increment, but if I have to write a prefix decrement, I would write it something like this. Now let's just have a look at how would this thing work in a program and what is the difference in the value we get. So now let's look at the program where we are using postfix and prefix. This part, let's start with this part. This part declares and initializes a variable to 10. Now over here we are just printing out the original value of a. Then I am using the increment prefix over here, and I am printing out the value that would come out after the prefix of the original number, that is 10. But after you have done the prefix in the number, then the value of a would change into whatever value comes after after incrementing it in prefix. So anytime I do increment or decrement, it can be postfix or prefix. I use to initialize my variable a with 10, which is its original value. So in the end, every time I'm printing out my values over here. So let's just see what is the output of the following program. How does incrementing and decrementing in postfix and prefix differ? What is the difference in the results? So here is our program. The original number is 10. Now when the increment is prefixed, we get an answer 11, but when the increment is postfix, there is no change. Same goes over here, that when the decrement is prefix, we have a 9, but when the decrement is postfix, we have no change in it. So every time you are doing a prefix increment or decrement, there is a change, where a postfix increment or decrement does not give you any change. Okay, let's just take two different variables. So when I say that a equals to a plus b, let's just see that for this b, you need to know that our operator plus is a prefix increment, whereas for our operator a, it is a postfix increment. So in equations such as this, we say that our operator is an infix when it is a postfix for one, and when it is a prefix for other, then it is called an infix operator, or you can say an infix increment or decrement. Let's just see out it and see what do we get as our answer. So from what I know, our answer should be 12. Let's see what do we get as answer. Our answer is 12. So this is what a prefix operator is and a postfix operator is, and how is an infix operator made up of a prefix and a postfix. So now let's start on different methods of incrementing and decrementing. These are three methods of incrementing and the same three methods of decrementing. See, the syntax is different, but they do the same thing. They increase a by 1. So when I run this program, I am increasing 10 by 3 times. I just add a 1 3 times in 10. So my answer should be 13, and over here I am deducing 1 3 times from 10. So my answer should be 7. Now look at it, that this line is used for increment. When the increase is by 1, you cannot increase by 2 using this statement. So this is used in for loops where there is most of the time an increment by 1. But the other where statement that you can use in for loops is this one. Like in some of my last videos, I'm adding sum into it. So this is when you have to add 2 different variables into a third one, or 2 different variables into any one of them. This statement is used when you don't have to add a constant, when you are actually working with variables, 2 or more variables. That's when you use this statement. So coming down to the other 2 statements, this is used for incrementing by 1. You cannot use it for incrementing it by 2, 3 or more than 1. So this is a uni-increment statement where you are increasing by 1. This is the main purpose of this part of the program. This statement, variable plus equals to 1 and variable minus equals to 1. This statement can be used for increment by any number. You can increase it by 10, you can decrease it by 10, by any number, and you would get your answer. To look at it this way, that this statement does increment by 1 or more than 1. Let's see what our answer is. So when you add 10 into 10, you get a 20, and when you minus 10 out of 10, you get a 0. So this is how increment is done when you have to increase a number by 2 or more than 2. But if you have to do increment by 1, you just simply write this statement. This statement states increment by 1, this statement states decrement by 1.